probably about 5 minutes before, but
Yeah.
I had to do some training just now, and I just got done.
Oh.
And it's a webinar training for new agents, so
Oh, wow.
it's
Okay.
a little late. Little late. Where you at?
I'm in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Ah, is it hot and humid all the time
Yes.
right now?
Yes.
You usually stay indoors?
No, we go out a lot. You get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm in Illinois,
Okay.
and every winter we're like, we got to get out of here. This is crazy.
Oh, sure.
Why do we want to stay in this snow, in this cold and stuff like that? And then my wife starts thinking about like Florida's and the warmer weathers like Texas, and she's like, wait, there's no way that I'd be able to stand the heat either.
Right.
Like
In the summer, it's crazy.
yeah, she's like, there's no way. So we've come to the, what is it? We come to accept that we're okay with the 4 seasons,
Yeah.
Like, we'll have the summers, we'll have
Right.
the winters, we'll have the falls and the spring. So I think that's okay.
Yes, that's nice.
You can keep that for yourself.
I said, Mary and I,
Hi,
we've
Dan.
accepted it.
Hi, how are you? Look how
Good.
pretty
How are
you
you?
Good.
Good.
I wasn't
Kyle.
talking about you, Kyle, but you're pretty too. How are you?
Thank you.
What's up, Kyle? How you doing, man?
Hey, Carlos. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. I think the first time we've chatted was sometimes at the HST headquarters when you were there a couple times, I think.
Yeah, no, those were always good times coming up to Lombard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a real jewel, isn't it?
Well, hey, man, I appreciate you guys both being on here. We usually just have one rep coming in here talking about their thing, and now we have 2. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I
thought
wish
we'd switch it
could say
up.
Robin's first rodeo with us, but it wasn't. She was with us when we did our road show out
That's
on
right.
the East Coast. That was fun, wasn't it?
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's what we do, right? We have a good time. You can't
We
just
did.
work. You have to have a good time.
No, you have to have fun too.
Is this some stuff that you guys can talk about, or is that like? Remember that we're recording this and we're going to post it. So
great seafood and good company and a couple of drinks and yeah,
it's fun.
of course, what this industry is all about.
That's right.
Sure.
That's cool.
Yes, we are super excited about having Pivot present today. Like, what an experience! Like, it's just not the word itself is out, but I don't think it's been out enough. So this is a great opportunity for us to really get this out there for everybody.
That is for sure, Dan. Like we have people on the hub asking about Pivot, and a lot of people just don't know about Pivot. They're just not. It's just not at the forefront. They think about the United Healthcares and the National Generals and the HIIs, but like Pivot, like people just don't know about it, and this is something that we need to get out there because I'm looking at the plans and I'm like, man, these are fantastic,
Yeah, we're super excited for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
We're just as grateful. So let me get started. So the idea is this: like we want to hold these trainings so that we can have people aware of the products that are out there that they may not be selling, right? And hopefully somebody says, listen, I need to have Pivot Health under my belt. But selfishly, it's so that the hub, the Facebook group, can be the resource for everybody. If they have a question about insurance, about Pivot Health in particular, we want to be able to say, listen, this is what Pivot Health can do for your client. This is why you need Pivot Health in your repertoire, right? Before we get into like the nuts and bolts, the details of each plan, I like to start off by asking our guests, just to tell us a little bit about yourself, right? Like I like to, if I'm gonna put my name on a product and offer it to my clients, I want to be 100% in, right? I want to know the people that I'm dealing with. I want to feel good about it. I want other people to feel good about it. And I want them to be comfortable with selling Pivot Health, right? So tell us what you guys did before insurance and how you guys ended up here with Pivot Health, I guess. I guess.
Do you want to start, Kyle?
Yeah, sure. I'll kick it off. So great question, Carlos. Thanks. Kyle Dietz, and I probably do know a lot of folks on the line. I'm not new to the insurance space at all. Spent a number of years at our good friends down the road in Indianapolis at United Health One, leading their FMO division. And I think that's kind of what I'd say to the group is, you may not be familiar with Pivot and who we are, but you're more than likely going to be familiar with the people that work at Pivot. We've been made up of a lot of industry experts, veterans. We'll let Robin talk about her background, but just to share a little bit about Jeff Smedsrud, our CEO, who spent a number of years as the chief marketing officer for IHC. So we actually come from a number of different insurance carriers, agencies, actuary firms, marketing firms. So we really have got a great group put together of industry veterans. So I come from the insurance space, like I said, have spent my entire career in the under 65 individual health space. It's where I've cut my teeth, and I've stuck with it. So I've been very fortunate to have an opportunity with Pivot to lead the sales and marketing.
Before you were in insurance, what did you do?
Yeah.
Was it always insurance? You were born into insurance like Dan Mack?
Pretty close. Pretty close. So my first job out of college, I was a health educator at the University of Georgia in their health center, and then I took that to becoming a health coach at WebMD. So I was the one that told everyone, no, if you went onto our symptom checker, you probably don't have cancer because you have that cut on your finger, or you have like a stomach ache, and then that eventually led me in insurance. It basically, I heard from a lot of individuals that were shocked at the fact that insurance didn't pay for their gym membership or their grocery bills, or they were kind of asking like, what is about this insurance? And I remember as kind of a naive mid-20s thinking, yeah, what do I pay for insurance? And it kind of prompted me to learn about all the benefits that come, the need that is there to have it, and had an opportunity to join United Healthcare, and have now been with Pivot for about 3 years.
What exactly does a health educator do? I automatically thought like a personal trainer or something like that.
No, so I actually I would talk to students about safer practices within certain health fields. So
Okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
specific areas that we would discuss, and I would help them make, or at least try to encourage them to make the right decisions.
That is probably very, very important in college.
100%. I know it's recorded, so maybe an offline conversation, as I think Dan's probably well aware, we can go into more detail. But for the purposes of a recorded line, let's just say trying to make college students make better informed decisions.
That makes sense. That's great. That's fantastic. Robin, what about you? Tell us about your life before insurance.
Oh my gosh, I've been in insurance for so long, I don't know if there was life before that. My first job out of college, I sold cleaning supplies to colleges and high schools, and right now I would have made a lot of money probably. But yeah, I just went door to door and I just sold toilet bowl cleaners and floor cleaners, whatever you had. That's what I sold.
That takes some grit.
Yeah. So then I decided I'd go into insurance. I'm not sure how that happened. It just kind of happened. I sold annuities for a long time, and then I worked for an agency in Tampa called Health Plan Services, and worked there for a long time in sales and marketing. And then I came to Pivot about 3 years ago.
Oh, nice. That's fantastic.
Yep.
Cleaning supplies. That makes me think. I just saw a commercial with Mr. Wonderful. Do you guys know who he is? The guy from Shark Tank, right?
Oh,
Absolutely. Yeah.
There was a commercial of him cleaning toilet bowls, right? And he's cleaning toilet bowls because there's this cleaning supply where you can just fill up a bottle of water and throw in a tablet, and it turns into a solution or something to clean stuff, you know? And I thought that was amazing, you know, like the tablets cost $2, or $2 a tablet, and you don't have to keep buying like bottles of Clorox or Windex or anything like that. You just use those tablets. I thought it was fantastic. We could have been rich. We could have been selling those.
Man, no kidding.
So, guys, I have a ton of questions that I'd like to ask Pivot, but usually how this rolls is you guys start talking, you guys have some sort of slide or PowerPoint. Mm-hmm. Some of these questions are being answered, and then as you go, I'm like, okay, I need to ask them about this, or I need to ask them about this. So if you guys want to dive in, be my guest. We can dive in.
Yeah. So Carlos, are you going to allow? It says host disabled attendee screen sharing. So
give me one second. I'm going to make you a co-host. And then you should be able to do it now. I'm going to make Robin a co-host too, I guess. Check and see if you can do it now. Yeah. Perfect.
We good? Everyone can see my screen?
You can see it.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we'll kick it off. So as Carlos and Dan mentioned, you know, we are Pivot Health. And you know, we thought, Robin and I have been working on this presentation for the last week, just trying to make sure that we cover all the topics that we think the audience will want to hear. We kind of took a three-prong approach. And so I'm going to take the first half of that, and we're going to talk a little bit about who is Pivot Health? What do we do? How we got started? A little bit about us so that you can become more familiar, more comfortable with us as people, with the company that we belong to, and then our products that we offer your customers. And then we'll get into some sales data around kind of hopefully to give you just a jump start if you're not familiar with Pivot, so that we can kind of cut through all the fluff and get you the information and the target audiences that we look for and the niches that we serve, and the top selling products and states that we have. And then Robin's going to close us out with really just a high level overview of the product suite that we have and who do we serve. And then hopefully the goal is at the end of this that we'll be able to better serve you with a more specific webinar based on if you're interested in our short-term medical portfolio or our ancillary products. Or I just saw a great question that somebody had on the Insurance Hub about this new Medicare product that we just launched. So if everyone's good with it, today's presentation is really just going to be kind of let's date before we get married, right? And let's share a little bit of information about us and the markets we serve, and then we'll direct you to more specific webinars.
Not my style, Kyle. I like commitment right up front. So you're good.
We can do that as well. So as mentioned, you got to know a little bit about Robin and I. We are going to be the host for the webinar. Robin and I work on our sales and marketing team, specifically working with brokerage distribution partners like everyone on the call. And so the agenda, as I mentioned, start with a company overview, talk a little bit about the sales data, and then get into our product suite. So who's Pivot Health? So we started in 2016. We're a product development, management, and marketing firm. So we're not the insurance carrier. But what's unique about us is we do create the insurance products. We price the insurance products. We actually share in the risk of the insurance products. But we utilize A-rated companies to be the insurance carrier behind us. And so there's a lot that Pivot does behind the scenes in working to create, price, distribute the products through a multitude of distribution partners like we have on the call today. What some of you may have not known is in 2018, we were acquired by healthcare.com. Which happens to be ranked 583rd on the 2019 Inc. 5000's fastest growing private companies. And so what that allowed us as Pivot to do is essentially now form two parts of our business with healthcare.com. And you have what we call internally our comparison side of the business and our coverage side of the business. So if you're not familiar with healthcare.com, they're a lead generation website. They have roughly 2 to 3 million visitors a year that are going on to healthcare.com in search of under 65 health insurance and Medicare. And what they do is they end up providing leads and calls to large agencies that are in need of leads. And so where the coverage side of the business comes into play is now we provide not only, can we provide distribution partners with leads and calls, we can actually provide them with unique insurance products. And that's where Pivot Health came into play. So you can kind of see why this marriage took place is because we had the lead gen side, we have a product creator side, and now we've put them together to create, healthcare.com, and then a subsidiary of that being Pivot Health. Through that, we modified our mission and vision. So I thought it was important to share the mission and vision now of healthcare.com as it sits with Pivot Health as part of their company as well. And so mission to help consumers find, compare, buy insurance that best fits their needs in the simplest way possible. And so that's going to be through a number of different channels that we leverage, agencies being by far our largest channel that we leverage in terms of distribution. I don't see that changing anytime soon. And so, what we're wanting to get to from a vision standpoint is to use best-in-class data-driven technology, insurance expertise to be the trusted advisor and leading brand for consumers seeking coverage by tailoring to their personal and ever-changing needs. So what that means to me is we want to create unique products. We want to help agents with the user experience and make sure that you can help your customers buy the right product through the right pathway at the right time. And so our goals, one is to be the best-in-class online marketing enrollment company for agents in the life and health insurance sector. And I would hope that if there's agents on this call that leverage Pivot today, that you would agree that we've tried to make it very simple for you to enroll customers. And it's really through two different pathways. One is we provide you with a unique URL that you can send to your customer and have them self-enroll. Or you can actually log into your broker portal, your online broker portal through pivothealth.com, and you can run quotes and enroll customers through your portal. So that's the first thing that we're trying to tackle for our agent partners. Second is continue to build tailored and differentiated products, serve consumers with efficient technology and a great user experience. And I'd say this is an area that we're putting a lot of emphasis on in 2020. And we've been really fortunate to partner with some really good insurance carriers. We continue to add new and innovative products to our suite. And so it's now a matter of trying to take that and create a user experience that helps our agents know exactly what product to sell. And I think you'll see in 2020, we'll come out with some new and exciting features on our enrollment pathway that will help some of our newer agents really get up to speed with Pivot quickly.
Kyle,
sure.
I'm the type that has like a memory, like a goldfish. If I don't ask the question, I'll lose it.
Okay, sure, go for it.
I'm going to ask you questions as we go. But so speaking of enrolling a client online, what's the enrollment process? We do an application and they get an email they have to confirm and sign, or is there something that they don't have to touch?
They don't have to touch. No, the agent can actually complete the enrollment from soup to nuts. So
okay, so unlike other folks, that this is something that we have full 100% control.
You do. Absolutely. So you can do it. Yeah, you can do it one of two ways. You can send a link to your customer to self-enroll if you would like to do that, right? They can run a quote for themselves. You can send a quote to your customer if you enroll and if you log into your broker portal, you can send them a customized quote. Or if you log in through your portal or use your URL yourself, you can actually enroll the customer from start to finish.
Nice. Fantastic.
And then the third point is lead the industry in agent support and customer service. And all I'd ask of the agency and agent partners that we have is this is going to take us some time as we don't have the head start like some of our competitors do in the processes and procedures that are in place. But I think if you give us a chance, if you're not working with us already, I think you'll thoroughly enjoy working with our account management team. And so that is Todd Green and Letty Perez. They report up through Robin. And I think you'll see that they put a personal touch onto the service that we provide. And they truly have a vested interest in learning from our brokers as to how we can improve. And then we also want to hear from customers as well as what products truly fit their needs. So why Pivot Health? Other than what Carlos just mentioned with, I think our enrollment pathway is incredibly easy. There's a few other things that I think agents will like about us. One is we offer really a variety of different, call it network options, right? One is a no network plan utilizing reference-based pricing, which helps us keep a competitive price, a lower price product in the market. But we also have more robust plans that leverage nationally recognized networks that Robin's going to talk about later on. So I think that's one of the big differentiators between us and some of our competitors is the fact that we have the option to utilize, different means of networks. And that creates a very unique price point, varying degrees of price points.
Are there plans that do both at the same time, where you can have reference-based pricing and still use a network if need be?
There is, and I will let Robin kind of talk through some of the plans that leverage some of those networks, and then how we leverage reference-based pricing in conjunction with some of the network options as well. Yep, great question. The second point is I'd say we create products that address niches in the marketplace. So I'm hoping that a lot of folks on the call have heard about Bridge to Medicare. And this is a product that we actually trademarked the name Bridge to Medicare. Mm-hmm. And we've converted it really from a product to more of a strategy now, where there is a very underserved market in that 55 or 60 to 64 year range of folks that are either early retirees, they don't qualify for subsidies, and they really just need a plan that's going to help them get to Medicare. And so we created this Bridge to Medicare product, which again, Robin's going to talk a little bit about later on. So I don't want to give it away. But I think when I think of this point, that's exactly what I'm referring to is, do other carriers have the option to write 3-year plans? Of course. Have they taken the next step to say, let's target this audience and let's give them a product that makes them feel like this was built for them? And I would say, no, they haven't done that, but Pivot has. So I think that's where this bullet comes into play. Third is provide agents, consumers with key underwriting wins. So we take child-only plans. I'd say that's the key underwriting win. We don't rate up for smoking. We don't ask social security numbers. So there are certain keys that I think Pivot could be a great, first step or even replacement behind one of your other carrier partners in the event that it couldn't go through. And there's some also medical conditions that we accept that you can, look on our application and determine whether or not that's going to be the right fit for your customer. And then fourth, I'd say.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
So Robin might get into this, but child only plans. What's the youngest? 6 months, 2 months?
Yeah. So we basically say they have to have their well baby visit. So 6 months is usually. At the start of where we'll allow a child to come on.
Understood. And then when you say no socials, anybody can get it, even illegal residents?
So as long as they can answer the underwriting questions, no, right? So that's going to be the key. Which one of them talks about having lived in the U.S. for the last 12 months? That's really the question that would be a knockout to somebody that can't answer that truthfully, right? So, yep. And then our fourth bullet point here is, we are a fast-growing company, but there is plenty of room for recruitment. And so when I look at some of the larger carriers that are out there, one of the challenges that I think agents talk about is, I hear this common theme of, well, everyone's already contracted with them. And I think this is a great opportunity. So thank you, Carlos and Dan, for setting this up, because Pivot, we have 10,000 contracted agents across the country. that's not a lot. It seems like a lot, but that's not a lot. And so to me, that's a huge opportunity for some of the agencies that are on the line here, or some of the agents that want to help their friends in the business get access to this product. We have a huge recruitment opportunity that is, there are still a lot of agents out there that I think we can serve. So what do our existing agents say about us? And I think they've checked 4 boxes here on these quotes. And one is the relationships, right? As Robin and I alluded to earlier, and I could speak for Letty and Todd as well, who are also industry veterans in this space. Relationships mean everything to us. And will we get everything right 100% of the time? Probably not. Will we try? Absolutely. And so we will absolutely try to provide our personal touch. And I think it's because, we thoroughly enjoy working with agents, but we also will work really, really hard to get a chance. And I think this presentation allows that, right? Is we just want a chance from the listeners to give Pivot as part of their portfolio of products. Second is we're led by some really entrepreneurial type of individuals. And if you remember back when 4x3s were, a thing, right? I mean, Pivot really led the charge in creating the 4x3 model when short-term medical durations were limited to 90 days. Creative, as I mentioned, we have the Bridge to Medicare product that was created that has really evolved into a strategy. And then quality. We work with A-rated companies. We share in the underwriting risk of the business. And so we are not a fly-by-the-night, have one carrier one day and then we've got to move on to another carrier partner the next, right? We value the relationships with our carrier partners, and we continue to add new carrier partners to our portfolio because they want to work with us.
Let me ask you, Kyle. So, one of the biggest things that come up about carriers in the hub is like the ease to work with, the carrier, and how understanding are they? When we call into, let's say, broker services, are we talking specifically to Todd and Letty, or is there a separate department that handles all this stuff?
So more than likely, you're going to talk to Todd and Letty. They are our account management team. They're the ones that work with, kind of divided up our 10,000 brokers. You have full access to them via email, via phone number. Now, if it's a simple, quick question, you can always reach out to our TPA, which is Allied National. And Robin will talk a little bit about them later on. So they have a service line as well if there's a question that you have regarding a policy or something like that. But absolutely, we'll always have access to Letty and Todd as well.
So Allied Financial will handle, the claims as well?
They do. They do.
Okay.
So it's Allied National.
Allied National, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
So let's talk some sales data. All right. So hopefully that gave kind of a good overview for everyone of our product or of who we are, what we do. And now let's get into some product information. So our state availability looks pretty similar to what you're going to find in the short-term medical space. We offer short-term medical plans in a little over 20 states. When you look at our classic series of plan, or actually I should say a little under 30 states in our classic series of plans, a little bit over 20 states in our core, and we continue to grow our quantum product, which is kind of in the 12 state footprint. And Bridge to Medicare continues to evolve too. So I'd say those are the two products that recognize we need to have some larger footprints in. We're working to that, but definitely our classic and our core plans have a pretty robust footprint in terms of the states that allow short-term medical to be in. And then here's a look at our extended duration availability. So not only do we offer 364-day plans, our sweet spot, I'd say, and where we've really focused a lot of our attention is on 2x364. Some of you may ask, well, why don't you offer 3x364? Well, we do in the Bridge to Medicare product specifically, but we actually believe that the 2x364 plans are actually going to have an equal persistency as 3x364-day plans. And some of that is because the price point. So if we think about this gig economy where customers oftentimes don't think about, their insurance for the next 3 years. In fact, I can speak to the fact that when it was, the underwritten pre-ACA days, a typical customer didn't stay on the books for more than 2 years back then. And so coming out with a 2x364, I think, is where we feel like that price point kind of meets the customer, where they'll be able to get through an open enrollment period and be able to have 2 years of coverage. So this is a map that Robin put together of all of our coverage periods that are available in each state. And then here's a look at our top selling states. So if we look at it by 1 through 5, 6 to 10, and 11 by 15, you'll see that Texas, Florida, Georgia, Virginia, and I know we have a lot of Illinois agents that are probably on this line as well, round out our top 5. So just wanted to provide an opportunity for you to look at your state and see if it's on there, and if it's not on there, please reach out to us, and we're happy to share, where it stands and maybe some of the things that we need to do to get it into, our top 15.
What is it about those 5 states that make them the top selling states? Is it the distribution, or is it the price point? What is it?
Yeah, so I think it's a combination, right? I mean, I think there's Florida and Texas are always going to be high volume short-term medical states because, for one, there's a lot of agents there and there's a lot of people that live there. I think in some of the other states, certain states play better with reference-based pricing products, and they're more, the providers recognize kind of a Medicare plus reimbursement. And so I think that's going to play into some of the states that we have that are in the top. They're not necessarily driven by networks, and I think that's going to play into it as well.
If you can, if Robin's not going to get into it later on, can you talk more about reference-based pricing and what that means?
Yeah, so Robin is definitely going to talk about that in a little bit. Yep, absolutely. And here's our top short-term medical plan designs. So I wanted to provide this because I want to get all of the new agents kind of a cheat sheet and saying, hey, we have a lot of plan designs. We have a lot of products. If you're looking for just kind of some general information about what plans sell the most at Pivot, here are the plans to take a look at, right? So, and this is specific to our brokerage channel. Our choice, $5,000 deductible, $1 million lifetime max, almost 8% of our overall policy sales. So if there's a product that I'm going to tell agents to lead with, it's the choice plan. And the reason for that is you can pivot to an economy plan, which is a less expensive plan, or you can go to a deluxe plan, which is a little bit more expensive, which both are shown on here as well. And then you'll see the core plan as well, which is more of an indemnity style short-term medical plan with low deductible options. And again, Robin will get into that later as well. Now you'll see the quantum plan at the end, and some of the reason why that's not yet in our top 5 is we just launched this product towards the end of last year, but you also have to remember the state footprint is not as large as what our classic and core series of plans are. But this is definitely the plan that we're going to recommend if you've got a family or somebody that's looking for more robust coverage. It's got supplemental accident built in. It utilizes the Cigna network. So the quantum plan is definitely the plan you're going to look for if you've got a customer that's looking for really robust coverage. But this should provide you with some details in terms of just top 5 selling plans. And this data, just so everyone knows, was taken from 2019. So once we get kind of halfway through this year, we'll evaluate what 2020 looks like and definitely can share that information if there's been any changes. age demographics. So this is looking at the percent of sales that we have in the short-term medical market as it relates to the age. And as you can see, as we mentioned, we do child-only plans. It's pretty significant part of our business. 5% of our overall business is less than 18. So that's meaningful. And we want to keep that. Where I want to draw more attention is to the black color pie, which is the 56 to 64 market. It's almost 20% of our overall business. And I'd say that is an area that we have not shied away from. We have been very, very vocal to say we want to be the experts in kind of the 56 to 64 market. We want those folks that are early retirees that can answer the underwriting questions which happens more often than some of you may think in this age bracket. Our data says about 8 out of 10 of those individuals that apply in that age bracket will be able to answer all of the underwriting questions no. But specifically, we want to target that 60 to 64 market. That to me is our sweet spot of that bridge to Medicare. And we can offer a 3-year plan and know if they are 60, it doesn't take them all the way to 65, but it gives them 3 years of saying, I'm going to evaluate this and then determine what the right duration is that I need to buy to get me to Medicare age. And we've seen a huge growth in that age population. We've increased 63% in that age bracket from 2018 to 2019. And hopefully some of you via social media saw, we just put out a press release announcing our relationship with Pan American as we get into the Medicare space. And, we're not going to touch a lot on that today, but I'm hoping that triggers some of you to want to come to a webinar to take a look at some of the neat things that we're doing in the Medicare space.
I want you to, when you get that webinar up or we get that link, we can post it on the hub.
Be great.
Kyle, I got 2 questions in regards to this chart.
Sure.
So bridge to Medicare, you get 3 years worth of that, and you can't rewrite it. We can't go another 3 years if we needed to.
You can, absolutely.
You can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
And then I've got 3 kids, and I still don't know what the well baby visit entails. So does that mean just like the visit after the birth and everything's okay and that's it, or does that mean like immunizations after 6 months, things like that? Like, what is a well baby visit?
Yeah. So, Robin, if you're on, maybe you want to take this one.
So the well baby visit is typically, that's when the immunizations start. Our plans, depending on what plan, some of our plans cover childhood immunizations, just the co-insurance applies, no deductible. And then our other plans, based on the state, it will do the same thing. So whatever the state mandates is covered for those immunizations will be covered under the plan.
Okay.
So I want to close my section out here with just talking about where we're going, right? And then Robin's going to get into more details on the products themselves. And, I want to be transparent with the group. I mean, there are states that continue to implement benefit requirements. And so some states are more challenging to get short-term medical plans approved, right? Because they may not allow them to be underwritten. They may require you to cover mandated benefits. And so anytime that happens, you just have to realize that carriers are going to have to evaluate whether or not that state is going to be economically friendly for them to participate in. And so we've seen that in a couple of states, and that's been probably across the board with all of your carrier partners. But I think uniformity across many state lines is possible. The one thing I'd say that states are doing that I think is a good thing for our consumers they are implementing some of these benefit requirements. They're taking a stand and requiring certain lifetime limits that I think are really meaningful to the customer, and they're good to have. So I think uniformity is possible, but I'd also want the group to understand that there are going to be certain states that are going to be challenging to ever do short-term medical And you just kind of have to look at it from the eyes of the carrier versus saying, oh, I could give you so much business if you got into this state, right? Second one is presenting durations. It's proven challenging, right? And I kind of even thought to myself as I'm walking through that extended duration, chart, right? You've got 90-day plans, and you've got 6-month plans, and you got 364-day plans, and you got 364 by 2 plans, and you've got 364 by 3 plans. And so it's, as you can imagine, as an agent, it's challenging understanding what durations are allowed in what states by what carriers. And you could imagine what consumers are thinking. They're not experts in this. And so trying to present the right duration so that a customer truly understands, what they're buying, it's proven to be challenging, right? And it will continue to be. And I think carriers are going to continue to try to do their best to show the durations in a way that makes sense. But one thing I can tell you is it has provided great price flexibility, right? And so if you want something less than 6 months, it could be one price. If you want something for up to 364 days, it could be another price. If you want something for longer than 364 days, there's going to be a load on that. And so I think it's imperative for agents to recognize that and help their customers understand that here are the price points at such durations, and really extending the duration out as long as possible, in my opinion, is really the best move for a lot of consumers. Some of it is because with us, you can cancel it anytime that you want to, and we'll prorate the premium back to the time that you cancel your plan. So you're not locked into a 364-day plan if you buy it. You're not locked into a 2-year plan or 364 by 2 if you buy it. But it does provide that customer with some peace of mind that, goes a little bit maybe beyond what they intended. And then third, we live in a market, there's 27 million uninsured. And so product innovation continues to be top of mind because we have to be able to get those 27 million uninsured to feel like insurance is something that they should buy. And we will continue to make efforts on that. And I just included this ... today, right? Because of what we're going through with coronavirus, there's now 20 plus million unemployed. And so now that's a whole pool of folks that we now have to try to see if short-term medical or other individual lines of products are a good fit for them. And then lastly, we're building Pivot Health customer for life experience. We want to continue to use data. We want to help agents present the best possible products to fit their clients' needs. So I can't harp on that enough, right? That we want to help agents find the right plan to the right customer. And with that, I'm going to hand it off over to Robin to finish us out. Unless Carlos, there's anything else I can answer.
I got 2 questions.
Okay.
So, the durations, from 3 months to whatever, 364 terms or whatever. Can you get an 8-month plan, a 7-month plan, a 4-month plan? You can do that, right? It doesn't have to be like minimum 6 months or anything like that, right?
You can. Yep, absolutely.
When you get, is there a price difference between like 5 months and 8 months, or like with other carriers, there's a certain price between a month and 6 months, and then it jumps up after 6 months, like 7 through 12. That's the same price there. Is that the same Pivot Health?
It is. So yeah. So anything less than 180 days of coverage is one price, and then you got it. So if you're over 180 days, but less than 364, it's another price. And then if you're over 364, which would essentially put you into our 2x364, there's a load for that. So, there's kind of 3 waves of price points.
And then, life happens. Sometimes we get a client a policy, and then 45 days later, they need to cancel because they got insurance somewhere else or whatever reason. If a client wants to cancel, is there a prorated, or they have to pay for that month they're not going to use?
They can cancel at any time. Yep, and we will prorate their premium back to the day that they cancel.
Okay, is there a minimum that they have to purchase? Like once they purchase, they have to at least get 30 days worth of coverage? Like they can't Yeah.
So yeah, they do
30
have to.
days.
They do have to get 30 days of coverage. Yes.
Makes sense. Yeah, just like other carriers.
But I'd say the prorated is something that we just introduced not too long ago, and I think that's a big win for us, right? So before it was, hey, just cancel before your next billing cycle, and you'll be on. But we did work with our administrator to be able to get them to prorate the premium back to the customer's cancellation date.
It is a big win because I know another carrier with their new products, they don't prorate. They're like, okay, if you pay for the premium, if you paid for that month, we're gonna stick that month out, or we're gonna keep that money. So that's good to know.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle. Can everybody see my screen now? I kind of took over.
Yeah.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
So as Kyle mentioned earlier in the presentation, Pivot Health's not the insurance carrier, and we're a marketing product development company. So I like to give a visual to agents. It kind of helps them out a little bit more. And our products are like a three-legged stool. So we handpick our partners to bring our products to market. So as we had mentioned earlier, insurance benefit administrators, or Allied National, is our administrator for all of our products, under 65 products. So they do all the billing, customer service, and claims. Our insurance carriers, we work with several, but our short-term products today, our insurance carrier is Companion Life. Been in the market for over 50 years, A+ rated. They're the insurer behind the short-term medical products. We also work with Renaissance for our dental, Standard Life and Accident for our fixed indemnity product, and Fidelity Security for our supplementals. So we work with these all A-rated carriers for our products. Then we bring in networks for some products, and then of course a PBM. So we have the Cigna network on some products, and we have the First Health network on some products. So our suite of products that are under 65, again, we're going to talk a lot about the short-term medical product. That's really kind of where most of our production is, in that short-term medical suite of products. We do have fixed indemnity products. Our fixed indemnity products are very, very rich. And, there's no deductible coinsurance. They're very simple. You know exactly how much is going to get paid for a claim. We have inpatient stays. Plans start at $3,000 a day, and they go up to plans that have a $6,000 per day inpatient hospitalization. We sell a lot of these plans in states where maybe our short-term medical isn't available, or maybe we don't have a longer duration. Since these are individual plans, they go the full 12 months. So that's a nice option to have. And then our dental and vision today is add-on products to our short-term medical. There's no waiting periods for our dental products for any services, and they're progressive plans. So the benefits start a little bit lower in the first year, and then they get better second and third year, they increase. And then we have child ortho on a plan as well. And then our supplemental plan is a recent product that we have as an add-on to our short term. We can sell it standalone, but we made it a check a box for our short term, and we're selling much more of it. And basically it's a packaged critical illness, accident, hospital indemnity, and AD&D coverage all in one, and it's guaranteed issue. And the benefits are paid directly to the insured. So it's a real nice add-on product to help offset some of those out-of-pockets.
Robin,
So,
let me ask you,
yeah.
the dental, the no waiting period, is that in all states or?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
No waiting periods.
For some reason, I had this conversation before. I thought Illinois, you had to have a waiting period for major services, but there's no waiting period on this product in Illinois for major services, right? Are you going to get into dental? If not, I'm going to ask one question about dental.
Just briefly, go ahead.
The maximum benefit every year is how much on the dental product?
So the nice part about the progressive plan is that it also increases each year. So on our low plan, in year 3, it's at, I believe, $1,500 coverage max. Our high plan is $2,500 coverage max in year 3.
Okay, and does that decrease a little bit for the major services, or is it consistent?
Nope. It's just for the whole plan.
Oh wow, fantastic. Okay, great. Thanks.
So our short-term medical plans, we feel like we have a plan that fits every client's need and budget. And, we kind of pride ourselves on the products that we bring to market, because when we bring a product to market, we have a segment of the market in mind for that product. What is the need? What kind of need are we fulfilling with these products? The core plans are very low deductible plans, low co-insurance out-of-pocket maximum. They utilize the First Health Network as a passive PPO, so you don't have to go in network. If you happen to go in network, you get the First Health discount. If you go out of network, that's where reference-based pricing comes in, and I'm going to go into how that works in a little bit. There's doctor office visit copays, prescription drug benefit. The core plans were really brought to market in mind of the younger generation, so that young, invincible generation. They're never going to get sick. They never going to go into the hospital. They just want to know, oh, if I have a cold, I can go to the doctor and give them $30 and it's taken care of. And what we found is our membership on this plan, 56% of the membership on this plan is under age 36. So really that target market is kind of gravitating towards this plan, which is great. Our classic plans are the plans that we came out with when we first began in 2016, and there's an array of plan designs. And Kyle kind of went over the top plan. That choice plan is within this classic chevron of plans. And there's so many different plan designs. You can have different deductibles. The deductible ranges from $1,000 up to $10,000. There's different coverage maximums. Some plans have doctor office visit copays, some have prescription drug benefits. This utilizes reference-based pricing for in and out. There's no in and out. It's all open access or open network.
I hope you guys caught that the lowest deductible possible with these plans is $1,000. On the two other major carriers that we have, the lowest deductible is $2,500. So if you got a client that is looking for a lower deductible, bam, bam, we can get it with our classic plans.
Classic and core too. The deductible is $1,000, $2,000. So, yep. We are introducing, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we're introducing what we're calling the Epic plans. They utilize the Cigna net. We have a plan that utilizes the Cigna network, and then we have a plan that utilizes reference-based pricing. And they have preventative coverage, child immunizations, prescription drug, optional prescription drug benefit, optional sup-ax benefit. So real nice plan with some rich benefits. Wellness benefits built into them. And then our quantum plan, these are your rich benefit plans. They are fun to talk about because there's so many benefits on them. These are great COBRA alternatives. So they're kind of on the high end of our product continuum because they're so benefit rich. They have a supplemental accident built into the plan, which will which would pay you for your deductible if you have an accident. And they have 100% co-insurance plans. They utilize the Cigna network. They're a true PPO, so in and out of network. We have some high deductible plans on here. All the wellness is covered under deductible and co-insurance. So really, really rich plans.
Tell us more about the preventative services, because when you speak to insurance agents and we think preventative services, we think ACA preventative services. But I would imagine that it's not everything that the ACA covers.
No, the preventative is going to be your preventative doctor's office visit. When you're going, you go to the doctor's office, that visit is going to be paid once a year up to a certain dollar amount. Now, if you have to get a mammogram, or if you have to get, a colonoscopy or something like that, that's going to go towards your deductible and co-insurance. So yeah, that's important, because I'll have people ask me when it says coverage, they're like, oh, it's 100%. Well, just because something is covered doesn't mean it's 100%.
But they are allowed to go get a mammogram or a colonoscopy if it's necessary, right?
Yes. Oh, yes, of course.
Certain age, I would imagine, maybe.
Right. Oh, usually it's over age 35, right?
Okay, fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about providers a little bit, because I said some plans utilize networks, some plans utilize what we call open access or freedom of choice. So the Quantum and Epic plans, they utilize the Cigna network in network, and they utilize reference-based pricing out of network. The core plans utilize the First Health network, a passive PPO. So benefits are the same in or out of network. You just get that network discount if you happen to go in network. Out of network, you're going to utilize the reference-based pricing. And then the Surpass RX is used as the PBM for core. And then Classic, Bridge to Medicare, and again, the Epic Base Plan, they're going to utilize freedom of choice, no network restrictions, reference-based pricing. They also utilize the Surpass PBM, and then the Epic Plan utilizes the Cigna PBM. So what does reference-based pricing mean? Okay, so what we do is we say you can go to any provider you want, and the insured gets an ID card just like they would any other insurance for a network, and on the ID card has the reimbursement there. We pay up to 125% of Medicare allowable to providers and up to 150% of Medicare allowable to facilities. So we like to say we pay Medicare plus to them, and they show their ID card, the claim gets filed by the provider to Insurance Benefit Administrators or Allied National. They're going to reprice that claim based on the Medicare allowable amount, and then they're going to pay the provider and send an EOB to the insured and tell them what they owe. So the member's going to win in a couple of different ways by utilizing reference-based pricing. One is because there's no network access fee, the premium's a little bit lower. So you see our classic plans, they're our number one plans. They've been our number one plans. It's because they utilize reference-based pricing. We're able to keep the premium at a really competitive rate. Then also the member wins because the discount that comes out of the reference-based pricing equates to about a 69% discount. So the discount on the claims is going to be more, so it's less out of pocket for the insured. And the reason it works that way is because if you think about a network discount, they're discounting it off the retail price. So if you go out and buy a new shirt or a new pair of pants and you get something 10% off, well, that's after that retailer has inflated that price to a retail price.
Can you say that to my wife, please?
What's that?
Can you explain that to Mary, my wife, how that works?
Yeah. No, I use that all the time. I got 20% off. Yay. I was able to buy two. So what we do is we take it off that retail. So networks take the discount off the retail price. Well, we start at the base price and we're paying above the base price. So that difference equates to about a 69% discount for the insured. So they're saving on their out-of-pocket for their claims as well. And then we offer a balance bill protection. So if a member gets a balance bill from the provider, so they've already been paid, and this isn't part of the deductible or co-insurance, but the patient has paid their responsibility based on the EOB and their certificate, but the provider saying, you know what, I really want that retail price that I charged you. They can send that bill to Allied National and they will negotiate that with the provider. Any fee above what's already been paid, so above what the member's responsibility is, Pivot will pay the provider. So the member is not responsible for anything above their stated responsibility in their scheduled benefits or certificate. So it's a nice insurance for you to be able to give to your clients.
Let me get that straight in my head, please.
Okay.
So we go to a provider.
Yep.
The provider wants to charge whatever he wants to charge us, but
Right.
we go back to the provider. Well, Allied goes
Mm-hmm.
back to the provider and says, listen, I know you want to charge this much, but we're going to pay you, reference-based pricing. We're going to go
Right.
off of Medicare allows plus 50% above that.
Right.
So here's the check for this.
Right.
And we're obviously responsible for our deductibles and cost sharing. We're responsible first, right?
Right.
But once we hit that, our responsibility, once we hit our out-of-pocket maximum, and the doctor wants to say, I really want my retail price. We're going to send that bill, the extra retail amount to you, and you're going to basically take care of it. You're going to negotiate with the doctors and hospitals, and you're going to take care of it.
Right.
Okay. Makes sense.
So you might think, well, how often does this happen? So providers accept the reference-based pricing fee schedule 96% of the time. 4% of the time, we have to negotiate, and we even still get a deep discount on what we negotiate. We're still getting almost 50% discount on what we negotiate with that provider. But the great thing is that the insured doesn't know, because they don't have to pay anything above that.
Mm-hmm. So what's the point? Why do you negotiate with? I mean, obviously you're going to negotiate with them so you guys don't have to shell out as much money. But
Right.
for us, we won't even see or hear about it, right? We're just sending you the leftovers, and that's it.
Yep, that's it. And to settle these claims, on average, it takes about 2 weeks. So it's not taking months. It's 90 days, 180 days. It just takes, on the average, 2 weeks to negotiate.
How often do you guys get, or maybe you may not know this, but how often does the TPA get phone calls from providers asking them, what the heck do you mean by reference-based pricing? Like
we encourage it. So there's a benefit verification number on the ID card. And, when you go to the doctor, no matter what insurance you have, they're always going to call and verify benefits. They want to make sure that the policy's still in force, that have you satisfy your deductible or whatever. Is there a copay? So if they call that benefit verification line, that team is going to tell them exactly how it works, what they should expect to be reimbursed for the service. And that's why it works very smoothly. So yeah, we do have people that say, who is Pivot Health, who's Companion Life, who is Allied National, because they're looking on their sheet of networks and they're not seeing that. We strongly encourage the insured to show that ID card and have them call that benefit verification line. Once they do that, they have no problem with it.
So I think the stat is what, like 95% of all doctors and hospitals accept, Medicare reimbursement rates.
Mm-hmm.
There shouldn't be any problem coming in with a card that said, here, we're going to pay you the Medicare reimbursement rates plus 25% on top of that, or 50%
right.
on top of that. Like there
right.
should be no problem.
Right.
And Carlos, if I can touch base on that real quick. I mean, I think that if there is a problem, it's usually not with the provider, right? As Robin alluded to, it's usually with the, front desk clerk, right? The gatekeeper behind the window that has their laminated, network sheet, and they're not going to deter away from that laminated network sheet, right? So that it's about educating that person to recognize that this is a reimbursement rate above what they're getting through Medicare. Because usually the provider, as you can imagine, is thrilled to say that they'll get something above Medicare reimbursement.
Right.
Are the feedbacks from the providers pretty good about the reimbursement rates, or
Yeah. I mean, 96% of them are taking it without any negotiation at all. And even the ones, as I mentioned, even the ones that we do negotiate, we still are getting a discount. So it's not, there are very few providers that say that they take no discount at all.
Yeah, I know. We've come across those every once in a while.
Yeah.
Medicare side. Let me ask this. Lynn has a question. Turnaround time for claims to be processed on average, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month?
Yeah, on average, it take about 2 weeks to turn them around.
Okay.
So I want to touch quickly on what we call Bridge to Medicare. This was a product that we created and we brought to market for that age 60 to 65, someone who's self-employed, that's 60 plus, a spouse of a Medicare recipient. This is where we saw the biggest need, because people that are selling Medicare, 9 times out of 10, they're going to have a spouse that's not Medicare eligible yet. So there was this need for a product that would be cheaper than ACA and that they would have some flexibility with. So what we did, this is the 364-day policies that we sell to this age group. So you have to be age 60 to 64 and 11 months to purchase the plan, and we'll issue up to 3 364-day policies. And the way our extended coverage works on all of our extended coverage plans is that we issue 3 policies at one time. One policy ends, the next policy starts that very next day. So one policy ends at 11:59 tonight. The next policy is going to start tomorrow. There's no new waiting periods for for policy 2 and 3. There's no new underwriting questions. So that policy is automatically going to start. You don't have to sign anything that says, yes, I accept coverage again, or, my health status hasn't changed. So there's no back and forth. It's just automatically going to start over. Now the plan starts over, right? It's a brand new policy. Everything's going to start over. So deductibles, coinsurance maximums start over, but so do coverage maximums as well start over for each policy. The bridge to Medicare utilizes the open network. It is about a 40 to 45% less than ACA coverage for this age group. So really nice price point for this age group. And then the benefits include prescription drug coverage and telemedicine. Our fixed indemnity product, again, is what we call Pivot Care Elite. And this has no deductibles, no coinsurance. As I mentioned, the daily inpatient benefit ranges from, based on plan, $3,000 to $6,000 a day. ICU, depending on the plan, $6,000 to $12,000 a day for 30 days. There's a critical illness benefit that's embedded in the plan. There's an accidental death, a common carrier life insurance. All of this is built into the plan. There's a wellness that pays up to $125 for a one-time visit. And then there's additional payouts for fractures and dislocations, burns, and mental illness. And the nice thing about the Pivot Care Elite, it's a fixed indemnity plan, so it's a reimbursement plan. It pays that set amount for whatever the service is. So it's a fee for service. They can pay the provider directly so that you don't have to worry about it. They can pay the client directly so that they can use the money for their, the way that they feel that they need it. Or sometimes, so this is a schedule plan. So it's going to pay out exactly what it says it's going to pay out. If the service fee is lower than the payout, we will automatically split that so that the insured gets any overage and the provider's only paid for what they billed. So if the payout is $125 and the billed amount was only $100, $25 would go to the insured and $100 would go to the provider.
Mm-hmm.
Our top selling plan, you'll see the average premium is $122. And again, Kansas, we don't have short-term medical products there as one of our top states, and Texas and Georgia also.
Cool.
So it's a real nice plan. And then we had the 2 ancillary plans. We have the dental, which we talked a little bit about, no waiting periods. It starts as soon as the next day with the short-term medical. The benefits and annual maximums increase over a 3-year period. Routine cleanings are at 100%. Basic services include fillings, sealants, and extractions. Major services include crowns, oral surgery, and implants. So it's a pretty nice plan. It's pretty rich.
2 questions. Do any of the products have mental health services?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Short-term and the indemnity plans, or just?
Yes, both of them do. The short-term products all have mental health benefits, and the Quantum is going to have the richest benefit, of course, for that.
Is there a knockout question for mental health? Like, let's say you've seen a specialist in the last 5 years, you can't get the plan?
Yes, if you're undergoing treatment for that right now, it's not a knockout question, but it wouldn't be covered.
Understood.
It's pre-existing.
Dental, can you sell that standalone?
Not yet.
Not yet?
We should have it in the next couple of weeks, but we can't sell it right now. It's just an add-on. Check the box.
Understood. And then with the fillings, oftentimes, do we get the amalgam fillings as well as there's the silver fillings and the white fillings. Do we do white fillings as well?
I think so. I'd have to check. Yeah, I'd have to check. And then just the Latitude plan. It's a very simple plan. There's 2 plans. It's basically a $2,500 benefit or a $5,000 benefit. It's a bundled critical illness, accident, ADD, and hospital indemnity. It's guaranteed issue. The cash benefits are paid directly to the insured. And we will be tweaking this plan this year. Probably won't have anything until 3rd or 4th quarter, but we're going to add some extra benefits to it, make it a little bit richer.
Mhm.
And the last thing I just want to say is that we have weekly training webinars for our products, and we have a schedule where you can go out and get the schedule, and you can sign up for any of those that you want to go to. And the training goes over all the products and quoting, kind of products, process, and promotion. If there's any type of bonuses or anything like that, they'll go over that. If someone on the call is not contracted, we encourage you to talk to your general agency, or you can contact Leah Ray at pivothealth.com for information.
Fantastic. Where do we get that calendar of trainings?
It is on our Agent Resource Center, and I can add a link to it. I can add a link to it in the Agents Hub feed if you want me to.
Fantastic. Yeah, that and yeah, if anybody needs to get contracted, obviously, talk to whoever you want to talk to. If you want, me to get credit or Dan to get credit, contact one of us. If not, go straight to leah.ray@pivothealth.com. Right. Perfect. So a couple things, $1,000 deductible plans, no waiting periods on the dental, prorated stuff, child only plans as long as they have their well baby visits. The bridge to Medicare. A lot of you folks are doing the Medicare stuff right now, and there's always a spouse in the house, right? When somebody's aging into Medicare, they need to figure out what the heck is going on with the spouse, and giving them an option, a 3-year option, which with the bridge to Medicare is fantastic. I would imagine. Let me ask you this: the bridge to Medicare, the benefits aren't any different. They're just marketed like the bridge to Medicare, right?
Correct. It is a higher deductible plan, and all benefits are basically deductible and co-insurance. There is a prescription drug benefit on the plans as well.
Okay, great. Is there a range of deductibles you can choose from? I imagine.
There's 3 plans, and the deductibles are $5,000, $7,500, and $10,000.
Nice, fantastic. Well, a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff.
Good.
Dan, do you have any questions for Robin or Kyle before I ask my last question?
I was just going to say how awesome this is. This is so different than what we get with other carriers. And I love the innovation for it too. I really like that Latitude plan option as well. But the bridge to Medicare, oh my goodness, that's a complete game changer for a lot of people that are looking for coverage for that group for sure. Love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, this was fantastic. So
thank you.
We always start the trainings by getting to know you, and we're always going to end the trainings by getting to know you even more. So Robin, let me ask you this question. If you can time travel back to an era, the 90s, 80s, 70s, the 20s, the 30s, where would you go and why?
Well, I'm not going to date myself, but I've already done the 80s, so I don't think I'll go back there. You know what? I love the 20s. I just like the gangsters. I liked what the women got to wear, the dresses and the hats and all that. So I'd go back to that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. 20s. I like my butter in a bucket. I don't want to I don't want to churn my own butter.
True. Well, I think I would want to be a high society 1920s person. How's that?
Makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Kyle, let me ask you. I got another one for you. Let's see. What's one thing you're better at than marketing insurance?
Gymnastics. As Dan knows, yeah. So I was a gymnast by trade. So there's been a number of flips that have been done at agency events. So
no kidding.
I'm probably a gymnast first, and then insurance salesman second.
No kidding. How long have you been doing gymnastics? Since what age?
Since I was probably 5 years old. Yeah. Now my son is getting into it, so that's exciting. So,
So I'm pretty good at dancing, and when like music comes on, Dan will be like, "Dance, monkey, dance." Do they tell you? Do they say, "Kyle, do a flip"? Kyle.
Oh yeah.
Every time.
So here.
I don't even bring it up anymore, just because. But yes,
He just does a flip when he sees Dan.
That's right.
So they just give you the look like it's time to do the flip, Kyle.
That's right. That's right.
What Kyle is subjected to every time we go to one of these events, and I've had a couple of cocktails, I tell everybody in the room that he does flips.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna have to check out this flip. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to do it one more time for me. But later when we meet.
Sure.
One last question before you go. Carmen says, a bridge to Medicare, is that offered in Illinois?
It is not.
It is not.
Okay, well, we need one in Illinois.
And again, it goes back to the point, though, Carlos, of some of the restrictions that certain states have. Yeah, so it's not by our choice that we wouldn't want that product there. It's Illinois has duration limitations that would not allow us to offer a 3-year plan.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
I did see it's in 9 states. Are there any plans to expand on that?
There are. I think you'll see realistically in the neighborhood of maybe 5 to 7 more states. I think if we can get about a 15 state plus footprint, I think that will be what we'll maxed out in terms of the extended durations. But I wouldn't put it past us to continue to be innovative in offering up, a 6x6 type plan, right? Or something along those lines where it could at least get somebody to, close to 3 years of coverage, but it just may not be 3 12-month plans, right? Or 3 364-day plans.
See. Well, guys, Robin, when they invent time travel, I will see you in the 20s.
That sounds good.
Somewhere. And Kyle, you owe me a flip. Okay?
You got it.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Carlos. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Alrighty. Bye.